Hey everyone, Tuna here, one of the Monster Hunter math guys. We've decided to go back to our roots. Our channel first started not by telling you what sets to use, but by explaining how the math worked and how you could make your own sets with basic knowledge about the game. We'll be putting all those basic ideas together in a kind of masterclass for Monster Hunter World. Today, we're talking about bow decorations.
Hey guys, Jinx here. So two things I want to talk about before we get into the video proper. So like Tuna mentioned, we are going back to our roots, but that doesn't mean we're not going to finish off the meta series. We still had the Elemental Charge Blade video coming out for you guys. There have just been a few delays in production, so it will be a little bit until we can get that out to you guys. And of course, once Iceborne is out and we have had sufficient time to develop what the new meta is, and Iceborne will be making a meta series about that as well. And as we mentioned in the previous video, we are going to be plugging Tuna's Twitch at the beginning of the videos now. So be sure to check him out over at twitch.tv/TunaTaco. He does stream Monster Hunter World and a few other games almost every single day. Tuna and I are equal partners in this business, and he is working on becoming a Twitch partner at the moment. So if you'd like to help support us, be sure to follow him on Twitch. It's a huge help even if you can't sub. Alright, without further ado, let's talk about all of the bow skills and decorations. We're gonna start off by talking about all of the bow skills that are important for your DPS that you don't normally include in other builds. And then we're gonna finish off this video by talking about the skill priority for what you should be trying to fit into your builds, assuming you can't make meta sets.
There are 4 special decoration types that bow uses to maximize damage: raw damage up, elemental damage up, charge up, and stamina management. For raw damage decos, you have Spread, Normal, and Pierce. Each of these gives a 10% damage bonus to raw only. Raw is still 65 to 80% of your overall damage, 100% if you're using Dragon Piercer, so definitely a smart skill to add. Normal affects your rapid shots. On console, this will be your R2, and on PC, it'll be your M1 by default. These are great for staying at a safe range while fighting a monster you're not comfortable with. Spread affects your power shots, which is your circle on console or M2 on PC by default. A common misconception is that Spread only works on power coatings. This is false and a bad wording job on Capcom's part. Again, Spread Deco has nothing to do with power coatings. Elemental attack decos increase your overall elemental damage. The cap is 1.3 times your weapon's base amount, generally maxing at 2 or 3 decos. If your number is orange in the status window, then you know you've capped elemental out. Generally, if the last deco only gives you 10 element, it's not worth it unless it's free, like in the case of Dragon Attack on Val Y arms. For an explanation on how that 10 element is calculated, here's Jinx.
Rounding is a bitch. So first off, with element, the bloat value is 10, meaning that you actually have 1/10 of your in-game displayed element as true element for damage calculations. Elemental damage is actually very easy to calculate. You take the true element times whatever multipliers you have to get your effective elements. So for effective element, that's normally your element times your crit multiplier if you have crit element in your build, and then also times your sharpness modifier. Bow does not have sharpness, so we only have to multiply it by the crit modifier. The crit modifier for bow is 1.35 times, so if we assume we have 100% affinity, we multiply that 1 by 1.35 to get 1.35. Now if we take this effective element multiplied by the elemental modifier of a particular attack, this is generally 1, but bow has a few of these, and then we multiply that by the elemental hit zone value, we get the damage per hit. Now the elemental modifier for bow shots is anywhere from 0.5 to 1.1, so we'll use 1.1 for the best case scenario. And an average weak point for element is going to be a 25 or 30 hit zone value. Again, let's use 30 for best case scenario. So now we have 1.35 times 1.1 times 0.3. This equals 0.4455. This means over 50% of the time this will round down into 0 damage gained, and again, this is the best case scenario. So yeah, TLDR, rounding is a bitch. If it only gives you 10 element for the last point of elemental attack, don't bother.
Bow Charge Plus gives you a 4th level of charge, which both increases your damage and creates higher DPS combos. There's currently only one efficient way to increase your charge level in World: the Mighty Bow Deco. While you can get the set bonus from Legiana, that armor is so inefficient that you're better off not running it at all.
Now you may be wondering how much of a DPS increase is Bow Charge Plus compared to not running it. Now there are too many factors to account for to give you an absolute % DPS increase, but we can ballpark it. Here is a purely theoretical comparison I did almost a year ago now. This is less so looking at DPS and more so looking at damage per stamina bar. Basically, it's comparing what bows look like if you use a ramp combo and then spam dash dances until you run out of stamina. Yes, I did not include frame counts into this, and yes, realistically, you're not gonna just spam dash dances until you run out of stamina. You'll actually manage it properly with ramp combos, but again, ballpark. So here on the left, we basically have what the total motion value per attack is, in other words, the raw damage, and then the total elemental hits per attack. Next, we have what the damage looks like for the non-Mighty Bow combo, doing a ramp combo and then spamming dash dances. Because we don't have that fourth level of charge, our most efficient combo is going to be quick shot, rapid shot, power shot. With Constitution 3 or any of its equivalents, you'll be able to get 6 total dash dances out before running out of stamina. So between the ramp combo and the 6 dash dances, you have a total of 631 total motion value. And the total elemental hits is going to be 58.9. Next, we have what it looks like with Mighty Bow instead. So Mighty Bow unlocks a much higher damage combo because we can go quick shot, power shot. This not only lets us fit an additional level 3 power shot into the combo, but allows us to do both the rapid and power shot at the end at level 4, which is higher damage. This means for the animation time cost of a single power shot, you get 52% more raw damage and 61.93% more elemental damage. That's a lot. Now the dash dances themselves also get a lot more powerful. This is because they are going to be level 4 dash dances instead of level 3 dash dances. When we total this all together, we get 742 total motion value and 76.15 total elemental hits. This is a 17.59% increase in total raw damage and a 29.29% increase in the total elemental damage. That's some big deeps. Now let's compare this to some actual monsters' hit zone values and see what the damage increase looks like. I went with Lunastra and Nogagante for this example because they are two opposite extremes. Lunastra is extremely elemental focused for the damage percentage, and Nogagante is extremely raw focused. Again, these do use old KT bow sets, so they are a little bit lower than what you actually might see now with Kjar. But with Lunastra, we're looking at a 24.61% total damage increase, and against Nergigante, a 20.55% increase. Plus or minus some, this doesn't account for rounding. And this does assume you have a meta set. And DPS calculations would be a tiny bit lower than what I have here because the Mighty Bow combo plus the dash dances does have a single extra power shot weaved in there that does add a little bit of animation time. But again, this is purely a ballpark estimation. The TLDR, Bow Charge Plus is very Naisu. However, even with a 20 to 25% damage increase, Bow Charge Plus is not worth using the Legiana armor set bonus. The armor is that bad and also means you can't run crit elements. So yeah, only use if you have a Mighty Bow Deco.
And finally, and most importantly, stamina management. That's a very extensive topic that we've already covered in depth in a previous video. Link in the top right. However, here's a quick TLDR. Constitution and Stamina Surge are good, Marathon Runner sucks. To elaborate a little more, Constitution affects the rate at which you expend bursts on stamina, while Marathon Runner affects the rate at which you expend sustained stamina.
So this means that Constitution affects anytime you shoot a rapid shot because they cost stamina, anytime you shoot a power shot because they cost stamina, anytime you dash because it costs stamina. Literally anytime you do anything on bow that involves you attacking or doing some kind of action that isn't a quick shot. The only sustained stamina action you have on bow is holding a shot to increase the charge level instead of comboing it. Which you never do because you can increase your charge level faster by using combos that also happen to deal damage while you're increasing the charge level.
Stamina Surge simply affects the rate at which you gain all stamina back. For simple combinations, you'll either want to run Cons 3 and a Dash Juice or Black Belt, or you'll run Cons 1 with both Dash Juice and Black Belt.
Finally, let's talk about all of these skill and decoration priorities for bow. Now, of course, if you can make our meta sets, you don't have to worry about this, just copy-paste the sets. But assuming you either can't or you want to build your own sets with different utility skills or things like that in there, then this is the order you want to prioritize fitting these damage skills into your sets. And please keep in mind, this is a generalized priority list. Except for the core skills for bow, whether a certain skill point will be better than a different skill point is very matchup and build dependent.
For decoration priorities, you want to start with Weakness Exploit, Critical Element, and Constitution. These will give you the most bang for your buck in any situation for bow. The one exception for Weakness Exploit is ATKT. Kolv doesn't get weak points for shot types at all in any stage, 1 through 4, molten or not, clothed or not. That's a common misconception. Again, it needs to stop.
Literally, the only part of Kulthroth that ever is a shot weak zone are the white spikes on her chest. But A, you never want to shoot these anyway because you should be focusing down parts in area 1 through 3 and you should be focusing down her horns in area 4. And B, yes, technically hitting those white spikes can deal damage to her, therefore making her molten, but because they are immune to elemental damage, you actually deal less damage hitting those than just hitting the non-weak points on her body instead. And again, this is for shot type damage, ranged weapons. Sever and Blunt do get weak points. This means melee weapons as well as slicing ammo do get weak points. I know that we've covered this a lot in the past with all of our different ATKT and old KT guides, but we still do see a lot of comments confused about how the weak points on ATKT work.
Next up, you'll want to increase your elemental attack boost to the cap. Again, that's about 2 to 3 decos, but that all depends on when your number turns orange. Next, we'll have spread for damage, or normal for safety.
Ideally, you want to fit both of these into your build, but if for whatever reason you can only fit one, spread does give you more total DPS increase, but only if you use power shots a lot. A lot of hunters prefer to use rapid shots for safety, in which case you will get more DPS increase from having a normal shot up instead. Now the final skill points are where it gets a bit more confusing. So these last 3 are going to be Critical Eye, Crit Boost, and Attack Boost up to Attack Boost 4. The general rule is to stack Critical Eye until you hit 100% affinity, and if you can fit Attack Boost 4 in there without dropping below 100 or 95% affinity, you do it. And then Crit Boost, you kind of just fit whatever you can in there, but generally you opt for Stamina Surge instead. But the part where it gets confusing is that depending on the bow you use, the current set you have, and the matchup in question, sometimes Crit Boost will actually lead to more damage on average compared to Crit Eye. Even though Crit Boost only affects the raw portion of damage, that's still around 65 to 80% of your damage depending on matchup. In general, a level of Crit Boost equals roughly 1 more damage per arrow at higher charge levels. The problem is 5% more affinity from Crit Eye doesn't always equal 1 more damage on average per arrow. Again, this starts to get really complicated, so the general rule is just to focus on Crit Eye to make your life easier. However, if you have a level 2 slot and you haven't yet maxed out your Crit Eye, throw Crit Boost instead because it's probably going to be more worthwhile, assuming you don't want more Stamina Surge. And for Attack Boost 4, it is actually better than a Crit Boost in certain situations, but only really when you're already close to 100% affinity, so only worry about that if you get that high.
And that's pretty much everything you need to know about bow decorations. Thanks for checking this video out. We'll have links to all the old videos in the description if you missed them. We're excited to get back to our roots and explaining the math behind the builds, not just giving you them outright. If there's a topic you'd like to see us cover, let us know in the comments. And if you liked the video, you know what to do. Sharing it around really helps us out. If you made it this far, tell me what your favorite armor set across all Monster Hunter games is. Past, present, Iceborne, doesn't matter. If you'd like to get in contact with us or other like-minded hunters, you can check out our Discord server, the Mathalos Nest. You can also follow us on Twitter, where we post updates and other things that interest us. You can also check me out on Twitch, where I stream Monster Hunter and other games almost every day.
And also a huge thank you to Honey over at honeyhunterworld.com for creating and maintaining the tools we use to make all of our sets. And a big thank you to Alessia, a phenomenal bow speedrunner and one of the moderators over our Discord server. She provided all of the background footage you saw for this video. And finally, the biggest thank you to all of our patrons over on Patreon who help support the channel. And an especially big thank you to MC Persona, Foray, Yoshi Cho, David Sternberg, XCLK07, Haika, Milky Powder, David Zhu Sinclair, Warren Kios, Hensatsuken, Wed Manticore, Cap'n Big Brain, Bram Orsel, Anti-Spartan, Lightweight, Pride, The Local, PB Livingston, Jordan Petit, Skylar Yang, Jack Lemon, Lupin, Mongus, Kumiko, Triple Agent, Augusta Oliveira, Alan O'Dom, Baguette, Zimv, Billy Barthel, Magister Obscura, Jamie, and every single one of you who supports us on Patreon. Thanks to you guys, we can continue to make our heavily researched contents then style videos without having to resort to making daily clickbait stuff, which is what the YouTube algorithm really likes. So thank you guys again, it really means the world to us. Alright, that's all we got for you guys on this one. And again, we are going to be finishing up the meta series as well as have those elemental charge blade builds out to you guys very soon. We do apologize about the delays, we are working on getting that taken care of. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see any of those videos the moment they come out.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Happy hunting, hunters.
Bye.